Okay, so today I'll continue my little permanent deck round robin that I was doing from last time, and I had to actually go back in my VOD and check. So I won one game with, or one game or one set, whatever I was doing, best of three, with my a game like this, I always say this about multiplayer games, they should have like better stats. Like every deck, maybe there is a way to see it, but or you need like some third party add-on. It should show you the stats of the decks. Like what's my record with one of these decks? Or and obviously if you edited it, it could reset or something, but it should show you all kind of detailed statistics. This is how many minions you play on average, all these kind of other tooltip kind of meta things for a game that is supposed to be so meta heavy and hardcore and all this kind of stuff. Also, My Little Pony art go burr, because I always make fun of that. Like the whole cosmetics of the game don't exactly match the target demographic, which is supposedly at least very hardcore. But yeah, we're gonna do that where we go through basically every deck in the history of the game that I have on this account. Anyway, whatever I've used, or some of them are like just deck recipes that they just give you. So I'll go through each of them. I should almost do a best of three, so I might have to check my VOD actually again to be sure whether whether I did a best of three with that other one. It should only be best of three, so they all get like a fair shot, right? But I won as the Nest Birds, and I only played that once. So that one can continue, and then I lost as the other one. So from now on, we'll just do best of three with all of them, and then what else comes to mind? Just like I was doing something earlier today. This is just like an aside, but I was looking through my. I guess because this sort of took a little longer for me to start this stream, so it reminds me of my AFK Andy self. I was looking through some of my old VODs earlier, and it kind of made me think like, because I'm streaming a lot less now than I used to then when I had first come back to streaming in 2021, like into 2022. I was doing like these 6 to 8 hour streams every day, and it seems like you take that for granted. Like, how does a normal person do that when they're not really making money from streaming or whatever the case may be, right? When they still have a job and all these things. Is because I would kind of almost leave it in the background, and I would still be there the majority of the time. So it's like, would you rather stream for 6 hours a day and be AFK for a total of like an hour, even if it's like a little sporadic? So you're still doing like 5 full hours of good quality content, whatever it was. Like I would do a story game in front, then chess or something secondary, to wind down, or I'd do like a hard mode and then something like a card game like this, to wind down. So that works really well because it just makes like a whole different format out of it. And so I always, you do something a little heavier, more attention focused at the beginning. So like for 3 4 hours, you do that, like a story game or hard mode, permadeath run, whatever. And then after that, you'll just wind down with something simple, like a just chatting type of shit, even though I hate just chatting. Some kind of game like this, Hearthstone, chat, something like that. But it makes you realize, like, in the end, now I do like an hour maybe. So even if I don't go AFK, and even if there's not those kind of sporadic interruptions, the trade-off now is it's the other extreme, where you're only going to be doing like an hour a day, which is pretty disappointing, at least by that standard. So it's kind of a good trade-off now that I actually think about it. But at the time, it was kind of like, making fun, AFK Andy and this and that. Like, it's fair to say that, but I don't know. There's like a middle ground that I was in for a while, like around 2022, the end of 2022, maybe into 2023. Right, for most of 2023, that was more like, okay, I was doing like 2 to 3 hours where I wouldn't really go AFK, and I was able to make that work as well. So now we're at the actual rock bottom. So we'll go through these, and basically what I want to do is we'll cap this off when this finally ends, which could take a while because these episodes are short now, because these decks are good, and because there's so many fucking decks to actually do. The one daily quest that I always make fun of is the stupid one that says destroy X number of your opponent's minions, because that's just never going to happen unless they block with them, because you can't. I'm not going to have removal because I just don't believe in that, or I don't ever do it. And so we're in the expansion that copied Castle Nathria from Hearthstone. It comes full circle. This game not only copied Hearthstone's presentation, but it has the nerve to copy its expansions too. Wow. What a degenerate fucking copycat game this is. Wink, wink. Even though Blizzard's always the master of copying stuff and making it their own. Like, TF2 fans will be pissed. Oh, Hearthstone copied TF2, but it's like, obviously, or not Hearthstone, Overwatch. But obviously it did something right, for it to be so popular in its own right. Not saying TF2 still isn't. It surprisingly is insanely popular. some games take on that form, like where you can just do them over and over, even if nothing ever changes, like Smash Brothers or something, right? Like they'll never get old. So if you like the core mechanics, they don't rely on itemization or, you know, updates and meta as much. And I kind of like that more. Like chess could just be in that same state forever, and people will just still keep playing it, or Smash Brothers or Rocket League, or, you know, it's almost like a sport. What else? Contrary to like League of Legends and stuff, where the meta is constantly changing and the rug's being pulled out from under you. Not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It's just like, I like the idea of something always being the same, where you can get into it. But yeah, this almost evokes my whole desire for playing like a fucking detective game. Speaking of playing story games in front, and my longer streams, like, that's something I haven't done in a while. I can't even remember what the last one I did is, but I've almost moved away from that. It would almost be as part of like my gauntlet format, like with like the Xbox Game Pass Gauntlet, where I was going in order of all the games on there. So if one of them happened to be a detective game, I always say like my permadeath formats have a bias towards story games, because you're less likely to, there's either not a failure state, or it's a lot less likely to find one, and you're less likely to die. So like, what if I'm doing like a series of games and I play like one detective game and then one combat focused game, I'm more likely to die despite my skill or whatever. I'm more likely to die in the combat focused game. So on average, you're going to end up playing story games for longer, even if, you know, that's not the intention of the format. So it's kind of a subliminal bias that you have towards that in that format. What else did I want to say? Yeah, we haven't done one of those in a while, but it's kind of understandable. Oh yeah, there's those two formats that I've talked about. I want to do the nostalgia gauntlet at some point, where I do like some old school game that I played as a kid that I never did a permadeath run of, where I go through those. Like, I could go through all the rare games like Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie, and they each get one try each to do a permadeath run of them. So it either lets me finish a game I never beat, like just Jet Force Gemini, which could also be first playthrough permadeath, or like from when I was younger, or it lets me do a permadeath run of one of those games that I have beaten before. So that's one. And then the other thing was some other gauntlet that I had. Damn, did I just forget? Fuck. As I was about to say it. It was some other gauntlet format where you go through like a series of games. No fucking way, I just forgot it, dude. I was just about to say it. Yeah, so none of these cosmetics really interest me. Dude, I'm like role-playing as a guy from fucking Memento. How the fuck do you forget that when it's literally on the tip of your tongue? It's Nostalgia Gauntlet, and then it's some other gauntlet. What the fuck could it be? Because we were doing the permadeath multiplayer gauntlet, obviously, in the context of like, we're going to do like Smite next, let's say. Right, so that would be after Paladins. So something like TF2. I was just making fun of, like, you know, Blizzard's always accused of copying stuff, but then, you know, they either end up making it better, or they at least make it their own, and it kind of works out. Yeah, none of these are really even interesting to me. If I was going to get one, because I have been consistently getting to rank 35, which is enough to get the portrait thing anyway. The fact that these cross over each other is a little bit weird, but it would be this Lilith looking wannabe chick over here, right? But I could almost care less about that. And it's only a sleeve too. That should almost be an avatar. Yeah, so what the fuck was that format? But yeah, we'll do nest birds again. I don't know what we did with this. I guess it was best of one, because it would have shown. So maybe that one should get another chance. You know what? I'll make an exception there, even though it seems like that maybe shouldn't be the case. What the fuck was it though? Now that's gonna bother me. Fuck. It was a format that was like similar to that, where you're doing some kind of permadeath or hard mode. You would go through. Fuck. Or okay, so whatever. So nest birds is still active. Let's start as fuck.
This is a great place for it. Alchemy mixes things up. Like standard, it features.
Oh yeah, I was doing this timeless thing too. It feels like they keep adding different formats here. Timeless just because it's even more open-ended than the
This.
Oh my god.
This
it's even more open-ended than the fucking thing. this.
Victory, it'll improve. Competition can be fierce, but rewarding.
It was, I keep losing my train of thought. It was fucking, it's more open-ended than historic, basically, and I love historic, so that's the point. I was just doing this format instead. How could I not remember that? What could it be if it's not that? We've done all kind of other gauntlets. I'm always a big fan of these formats that I, if nothing else, I give my performance in them isn't the greatest, at least my, you know, my ideas of coming up with them and my willingness to do stuff like that is pretty fun. So like, I don't know, I mean, even the first playthrough Permadeath format is inherently interesting to me that way. Stone Cold Stunner. It always feels weird having a space in your name, almost as bad as having a number in your name, am I right? And I hate these games that are like one character short, because then I have to put the digit instead of O and E. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think I had to do that. At some point, I'd want to play this game in real life too, or like at least a real life version of the game. I keep saying that, but I don't know why they would miss the opportunity with a game like this. Like the presentation and everything of this game is good, but it's missing a lot of the cards, and it makes you wonder why they would even do it like that. So this deck basically cheated death a little bit, because technically we lost as the last time, but it must have been the best of one, so it's not the greatest hand. So this has like all kind of hexproof stuff of different colors, multicolored hexproof. You know what? I'll take my chances with it. And we are playing against bronze, rank, garbage, whatever players that we have here, but wait, why don't I have a pet though? Didn't I have that big fucker? Gargoyle looking dude? I'm actually kind of bummed out that I can't remember my other thing that I was talking about. What could it possibly be? I was talking about like Blizzard inspired games and Rocket League and stuff. The other format was like I just try to finish hard modes that I kind of left hanging and stuff like that. But that was like more a Friday thing, like, oh, I could do that instead of like what I'm doing with PvZ now, almost. Where I just do like a little short session and I get like one try each time to do that. So this is not looking too great. This guy does give you extra mana though. You kind of need some of those rainbow universal mana generators though, because this is kind of pointless too, because oh, hexproof and multicolor doesn't matter because it's just most of their removal is probably not going to be multicolored. And it's the one thing that forced me to play as blue, even as much as I don't like blue, to the extent that obviously, you know, it's just it involves magic in a way that I mean the whole game is called magic, haha, but it involves magic too much to the extent of, you know, removal, spam, and things like that that are kind of annoying, and I don't like that. But on the flip side, it does have hexproof and things that counter that, so that part I like. We do get this, which is very important going forward, and so let's just see what we can take advantage of with... The ward is almost like a bootleg hexproof that makes you question why you're even using it, because why not just have hexproof instead? But some of these are not exactly... I mean, the whole black creatures thing here is just a bonus anyway. Duelist 2 was almost a game I wanted to make a little mini-series out of. There's too many things I want to do, but you're never going to have enough time, and then you're going to run out of time, and stuff is going to go offline before you ever get the chance to do it. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Like the secondary format where you get a second life at things that I failed. So like LA Noire or Danganronpa or something like that. Permadeath runs that I failed first playthrough Permadeath, so I would get a second chance at one of them. The Witcher, so I could do like a poll or something and have people decide from it. That's always very fun to do. Or you know what's interesting with some of my videos that I've noticed now, a little psychology tidbit, I guess, of the day. Just the fact that I I'll upload a video of me like playing a game, like especially for the first time, and in a way that kind of goes against my whole philosophy. It's like, oh, I'm doing sort of bait content where every video I upload is like, oh, I'm playing this game for the first time and I'm playing that game for the first time. But it's not like I'm going out of my way to do that, because that's my Saturday format. So like every day I'm still doing what I would normally do, but I'm just prioritizing uploading the Saturday format where I play something new that I haven't played before for the first time, typically. And so that just makes for better YouTube content, because for whatever reason, people like that more, because you're kind of baiting from that community once, and then you use them for what they're good for and throw them away, basically, is how it works. And so the point behind that is that you do that rather than posting one video after another of the same series, which for me can be like very long and exhaustive and almost slow videos, like where you're taking your time a lot. So those don't do as well. So it sort of incentivizes the wrong thing. Or even it's a case where some shitty little short clips get a lot of views, and something that you put a lot more time and effort into get a lot less. So it's kind of encouraging you almost to do the wrong thing. So this is kind of annoying because he can trade into it pretty easily. The statting on these isn't terrible, but it's like, there is a little bit of price you pay for hexproof. But no, people always seem to take my commentary, my style, in one of two negative ways. On one hand, the fact that I like to play stuff blind. I don't think I really noticed this as much before either. The fact that I like to play stuff blind, people will take as some sort of egotism, like, oh, haha, you suck and I'm better than you and you're stupid and I'm smart, because of hindsight bias or whatever. Or maybe they even are smart and they came up, with something that I couldn't come up with. That's fair enough, but it's like, you're not really trying to prove anything in that context, even with the first playthrough, even with the first playthrough Permadeath format. It doesn't mean that you're really doing it to try to prove something that way. So on one hand, there's an egotism to it. On the other hand, they take like everything as a complaint. Like, if I'm just giving a running commentary of my thoughts throughout an experience, it doesn't mean I hate it's too much of an absolute. Like, even with this game's first episode, I find that funny. People really didn't like that, and it got like a ton of dislikes, and they're shitting on me in the comments. But it's like, I love the game, obviously. I'm still playing it. Like, it's been, it's what, over a year and almost a year and a half, something like that. And so obviously I like the game. So that's sort of what protects me a little bit in a way. Even if what I'm saying or doing you don't like, it's not like I'm holding it against the game. So it's like if I criticize one element, like, oh, I don't like the tutorial, or the tutorial's too long, or this wisp is annoying, or I don't like this one mechanic. It doesn't mean the mechanic is bad. It just means I don't like it, right? There's a difference in those two. I can be objective that way. Or what else? Just like you're looking at it in the moment, like, okay, this was kind of stupid, or I'm kind of pissed about this one thing, this game didn't go well. But that doesn't mean I'm holding it against the whole experience and saying, oh, the game sucks because of it. But that's how people take it, which I get it. I mean, they're not going to sit there and watch like 100 episodes of something to see your full opinion and thoughts, but they take everything too much as an absolute, right? So you make one video and you say some negative things, and then therefore, oh, you're a hater, and that's what happened with the Diablo series. I'm associated with that. Like, I'm considered a hater of Diablo games, Diablo style games, Path of Exile, whatever the case may be. And the reason why is because I keep having that recurring criticism of it from the perspective, the sort of bird's eye view, immersion breaking thing, that there was going to be a Magic the Gathering game in that perspective, so I could have shit all over it. But again, it doesn't mean I dislike them. I like Diablo. I like Path of Exile for the little short session that I played it. So you can't really judge it on such a short experience anyway. But yes, the good old bait gambit of just fucking, oh my god, play Rainbow. They said it'll be fun, they said, but I still get another chance. But I mean, that was a near win, or I guess maybe he was AFK so much that I couldn't really do anything about it. Or I mean, it would have been even worse if I makes him seem like a bot over here. The fact that he's still, like, is it really BM if you're just doing stuff that isn't even really, there's nothing fun about that. They were already tapped, so you just tap them again. Haha. So 10 out of 10 BM. Yeah, that's why I always believe in the long form postulate, or like I'll do it in one extreme or the other. I never used to upload YouTube videos, right, at all, really. Even as much as I would stream and do stuff, it's almost like a defeatist mindset. Like, oh, because I would stream so much, oh, I'm streaming 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day. How the fuck am I gonna have time to upload that? So I just said, fuck it, I won't even bother trying to save anything. I don't have room for it. I don't have these external hard drives that I had to get now. You know, I don't have time to upload, edit on top of already streaming. It's just too much, right? So I didn't want to even bother doing it then, and you can kind of understand that. And I wasn't looking at it as sort of a vain, reactionary, zero-sum thing that you want to try to take credit for, or, you know, make money from, cynically viewed, whatever you want to say. So there's a lot of different reasons why you wouldn't have done that. Even big streamers laughably wouldn't do that. Like, it took Asmongold so long, and then he still has Cat Danny do it. Or if you look at, you know, like Forsen wouldn't do it. Even these people, when they became reasonably decent sized streamers and they were successful and they were making money from it, maybe even a living from it, they were still too fucking lazy. So that's what I don't have any respect for, actually. They're still too lazy to do it. I don't think I've played that trick yet, actually. And I might not get to, because she's only in this deck. Oh, fuck me. You know, if you can do it with like 200 subscribers or whatever, you know, a small creator that you might be, then don't tell me that you can't do it in that level. So like Asmongold was so lazy that he wouldn't put it even when he's a big partner streamer, one of the biggest streamers on the platform. And you know how I would know that too, from first-hand view, because if I wanted to watch something of his, oh, I would have to watch it on some fan, Aster Thompson or somebody, you know, some fans channel, and then he ended up paying them. Not that he ended up doing it himself, so he stopped them from doing it. Oh no, I'm doing them a favor. I'm gonna have them work for me and pay them because I'm too fucking still lazy to do it. And I get it. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to do it yourself, but for fuck's sake, like it almost seems like you have to force them to do it. Forcing him. XQC was always pretty good about it. I feel like he would upload at least a certain amount of what he would do. I feel like he did his YouTube actually pretty professionally, because, you know, he was in esports, so maybe he had some guidance from somebody there. I just remember seeing like he put up fucking Baldi's basics and all this kind of shit. It's like, that's the kind of thing you can let go. Nobody's gonna be complaining, oh, you didn't upload Baldi's basics. That was fucking funny. But no, he had Adept fucking edit it for him. His Baldi probably has tanked since then. You know, maybe I'm one of the few people who would sort of take Adept's side in that. Not so much the way she handled it and tried to, whatever, take half his whatever. I don't know what the whole thing is, but the one thing is, like, she was there all along and supporting him from the beginning, and like when he was still, you know, in the esports scene of Overwatch. So even if people want to say, oh, you'd be in it for the money, I think that's utterly ridiculous to say that about her, because it's like, you were there, you know, cleaning up his fucking room and bringing him food. This was before he was nearly as big of a streamer as he is now. You're trying to tell me you would go through all that for all that time on the chance that he might become as successful as he did, just so that you can, like, that's one of those conspiracy theory dumb shit takes that people have. Like, you were genuinely invested, you were genuinely there, you were genuinely helping him, you were genuinely a part of his success, obviously making things easier, maybe, you know, motivating factor. Maybe he wouldn't have been as successful without your help and support all that time. Like, so there is something to it. That doesn't mean it justifies, you know, what it ultimately culminated in, but I do feel like there's a little bit more to it than people say. I don't feel like people would really like that take either, but it's easy to, I don't know. Everybody just kind of gangs up on somebody at some point. I'm assuming I'm going to lose this one. This guy actually does kind of feel like a bot. Just the way he's timed out and the way that he's fucking... Although I guess people can say that to me. Rise looking dude over here. Like, I'm always go AFK and stuff too. Although I guess I don't do it anymore. Yeah, where was my pet the last game? Or did I just not notice it? Or did it just bug out? At least this is a blue guy who actually plays on the board a little bit. I can't be too mad about that. But I'm not really getting what I need here. So if I lose this, set, then obviously I'll move on. I'll play Nespers and all these kind of old decks. A lot of them are just random hodgepodge things that the game even just gives you. Like, you clone a deck that was used in the draft, or again, it's just some sort of preset sort of deck recipe. Enters the battlefield, you may return target creature. Yeah, people take things sometimes too much with a sense of finality, which also goes along with the lowest common denominator, low attention span sort of thing that rewards kind of short form stuff. Because again, if they're taking it as an absolute, then that'll be more important and impactful to them. But on the flip side, you know, even in something long form, they'll take it to heart as sort of they'll take it to heart and say, okay, I'm gonna define it fully by this. But then if you look at the big picture, that's not even true, so it's just not accurate. I didn't expect actually to have enough to be able to do both of those, but we may as well just attack in because there's nothing I'm going to be able to do here. I won't be able to stop that stupid ass flying thing either. That's the stupidest thing you could do, is to block with that. Or, I guess even stupider, just don't block with anything. Although that's kind of how he won last time, but he has so much flying stuff I can't really do anything about it. So I almost just have to go all in, or I could force them to... Even the angler turtle thing wouldn't help me now. I need like a version of the angler turtle that not only forces them to attack, but also forces them not to fly. Like, somehow clips all their wings at once. There's some AoE effect like that. All minions lose flying. That would be one of my favorite cards in the game. All of your minions are hexproof and all minions are flying. Or you know what? I wouldn't even mind if their minions are hexproof too. So, like, that would be a good trade-off, right? I play a minion that has the effect, or like a planeswalker or whatever, that has the effect all minions on the board are hexproof, or all of them for the rest of the game are hexproof. That's fine, because I don't use removal anyway, so it suits my style even more. So what would normally be a downside is sort of negated for me. Holy shit, dude, these people take so long. We're combining the two best formats ever, though. A timeless format or a historic format where you get the variety of cards that you can use, and then also the simple fact that you're able to also do the best of 3 format, which I do like, which kind of circumvents RNG and makes it feel a little more fair and fleshed out. And then also my little permadeath round robin thing, which is just sort of random. So I want to end off, once I'm done with this, then we'll do another 10k draft, hopefully, before this expansion ends. Or even if not, then at the beginning of the next one. But I almost would hope that I have enough to do it again here, because I want to redeem how badly I did in this one. But that's almost kind of a fun way to do it too. Like, I only get one chance at the 10k draft per expansion. I can do maybe other ones as much as I want, but you would have thought I would have liked drafting more, actually, but I haven't done it that much in this game, really. I'd rather buy these shitty fucking cosmetics in a free-to-play first playthrough run. But no, it's like... Imagine how crushing it is, too, whether you spend money or just a lot of time, like me, in games like this. Like when Hearthstone goes offline, or this game goes offline. All the fucking cards that you worked for all this time, you don't think about it when you're playing the game, because you just assume, like, oh, it's going to be around forever, but your cards are just gone forever. I guess you could argue even in real life, it's like, oh, you might not have anybody to play with anymore, or people don't care about the game anymore. But at least you always still have the cards, and it has like physical value, resale value, whatever you want to call it. But this is like the whole delisted games thing. You'll lose your whole collection of cards and cosmetics forever, and that's just it. You'll be fucked. Whereas here, it's a case where I don't really need the mana. Wait, there's nothing I can even block though, is there? We might still win, especially because we have the trample. In fact, we definitely win. And even that's gonna be fucking amazing. If it wasn't a finisher before, it sure is now. Weird looking picture. When it deals, common damage to a player proliferates. And the toxic is in there just as a BM troll kind of thing, because it's not like this is a deck that has anything like that in there. It's just random. But he has so many other good effects. Haste, trample, hexproof, everything. So we get a chance to right the wrong here. And actually continue with this deck, which again already cheated death in a manner of speaking. The permadeath thing just started and we're already kind of fucking it up, but it was because I think that was just the best of one that I did. In fact, it kind of proved it by showing me recently played from last time. All we need is a good... Okay, see, I'll even take my chances with that. But this is kind of a fun deck because it's like me committing to the whole hexproof as much as possible, even to the point where we have some ward stuff in there. Where it's still kind of anti-spell, but it just doesn't seem worth it. Hexproof is such an absolute. Like, you can pay whatever the fuck you want. It's just not going to work ever. And I get to still rub it in your face that I can buff my stuff and do whatever I want. Which is very similar to some themes I had in Hearthstone. But the difference there is you have, like, AoE buffs and stuff that you use on your minions. And the reason why is because you're not... You know, you're limited. You actually can't target them, so you would have no choice but to AoE buff them or buff them with some minion effect or something else. Whereas here, you can just freely do whatever you want, which makes hexproof arguably a lot better than that, or better than similar effects in a lot of card games. But yeah, I mean, there's really no downside to it. It's like with ward. Pretend like ward worked like in order to buff the card, you have to pay that cost too, right? If I want to target it with something. But no, it's just whenever a permanent with ward becomes targeted as power and ability, opponent controls only. So they're both very like one-sided. That they just only benefit you. But it is kind of disappointing that in the whole history of this game, there's not really as many hexproof minions as you would think. Like basically all of them might be in this deck, or almost all of them. Yeah, this will be a fun format, and it's not like we're moving away from playing dinosaurs, because most of these are going to have dinosaurs in there anyway, but I want to see which of these might be a long streak that we get to really enjoy. That was a pretty shitty draft performance, though, in the first episode here, which was like before last episode, where I go actually not only 0 and 3 in the 10K play three best of threes regardless of record, so basically 3 sets of games, but I didn't just go 0 and 3, I went 0 and 6. I didn't even win a single one in the matches like how we have here, where we're 1-1. What the fuck are you doing, you fucking bot clown? Yeah, there's a lot of interesting formats that I could do. I wish I had more time to do them, or I guess I could replace one of these sort of formats in order to say like, okay, I'll do it on one of these days. But if I'm being honest, I think some of these are gonna stay there pretty much forever, right? Like Monday's gonna be Magic till the end of time, and the reason why is because even if it's not this version, okay, I'll play some other one like I keep talking about and speculating. That'll be a reason to do face cam. I'll face cam physically, you know, but I won't show my face, but I'll face cam myself physically, my hand, playing the cards with somebody else or whatever, right? That's the kind of thing that's fun if you're a bigger streamer. It doesn't mean you have to be huge, but just like moderate, where, you know, it creates a certain amount of interest or whatever, or even like it's such a privilege and a luxury. Like that's the reason why I'd want to be a big streamer or something, not because of the money involved even, but because, oh, if you want to like host an event or something, it makes it so, you know, people will come just for that reason or something like that, and you can always have that at your disposal, right? Like XQC goes to a fucking store or Magic the Gathering event and they let him sit there and open packs or something, and it's like, oh, it's attracting attention, so whatever. It's just always like a net positive. It's this whole celebrity culture, cult of personality thing, where it's like, because you're famous, that's why. Like the old expression, like, why are they watching you? Oh, because you're on TV. Like, so in other words, you're not on TV because you're interesting and watchable, you're being watched because, oh, you're there already. You're already in the public eye. You're already conspicuous. You're already famous. You're already on the front page of Twitch. So therefore, people watch you for that reason alone. Now, obviously, there's something behind it to get to that point, but it's sort of like a self-serving thing, right? It lowers the standard. That's why you see so much just chatting, kind of react content, shit content like that, where you're basically able to look at it from the perspective of, you know, even if these people had done something more impressive in the past, now there's no incentive to, because they've already established some sort of, you know, fan base based on them as the individual rather than based on what they're doing as the primary sort of prerequisite criteria for anything. And before Hikaru quits playing chess and starts doing less than 9 minutes remaining in your match timer, you will concede 9 minutes. Or it just keeps going. Wait, I never really noticed that. Or that's like some, I don't understand. Normally I thought it's just based to do with the hourglass. Now he just has that much total at any point during his turn, which is some kind of better. At the rate that he's going, it will fucking take him that long. Holy shit. Yeah, I can't believe I had never played Pokemon, the card game, really. I won't say I had never played it, but very, very little. I had the little mat and the little blue chips and stuff that you would use with, like, the damage values and stuff. But, yeah, that was, like, the end of 2022 that I effectively played that. I played a lot of card games at that stretch, which I'm still doing now. But, no, like, some of these series won't really go away. So Monday is going to be Magic for foreseeable future, even if I do it in some other forms than this. The physical card game, some other digital card game, some other way to actually play with more variety of cards. Tuesday is always going to be chess, obviously, because I'm just obsessed with chess and I can't get enough, even though I've been doing it sort of off stream too. You know, I'm sort of recording and uploading that, so I want the whole journey to be on video, but whatever. Tuesday we'll keep as a placeholder there. Wednesday is sort of more flexible. I could do one of these other formats I'm talking about. In particular, I might rotate, and maybe I'll do the Nostalgia Gauntlet thing, and then, like, I'll do it with one game, then I'll move on to, when that ends, whether I beat the game or I die, then I'll flip back to the Permadeath multiplayer gauntlet, and then when that one's over, then I'll switch back to the next one in the Nostalgia Gauntlet. That almost seems like a good idea, just to sort of introduce the format and see what it's about. And meanwhile, we're doing whatever Wednesday. I got way too many fucking formats, but I like it. The sort of thing where if you had more time... Isn't this like the same thing that happened last time, where we won a set against like an Emerald, Platinum, whatever guy, just because he AFK'd out? Not that I mind it, but we'll give this one another chance, I guess. For once, I don't even really care about doing the daily quest, because I'm not saving for anything, like rank 35 cosmetic shit that I always go for. As a commune, part of naturalistic church, are united by the will of the world soul. They dream of embracing all of Ravnica in a harmonious union of nature and civilization. What else was I saying? So Wednesday would be open to that. Friday would be more suited for the little mini hard mode, one attempt sort of thing, that like what we're already sort of doing now. Then Thursday is sort of the gauntlet, Xbox Game Pass or some other gauntlet. I almost wouldn't mind that one being the nostalgia one, but that's going to go on for too long. But right now we've been doing Arc for what feels like, I don't even remember when that started. It might be like, or that'll go on for like a fucking year before I actually beat it, because of how slow paced and how maybe short those sessions actually are. I can't really remember even when I started that. I started like the gauntlet over, okay, so it was like in the middle of 23, because yeah, so it's been almost a year, because I had beaten Anthem, and then it was the next one I think after Anthem, and it technically wasn't the next one after Anthem, because I was going like in alphabetical order. So, you know, Anthem and Arc both start with A, but I skipped ahead to Arc just because I felt like the pressure of, you know, Arc 2 coming out, so I figure, oh, I may as well try it. It just sort of felt suited within that context, but Dead ass breed. Okay, here we go. At least they're actually playing the fucking game. I'd rather get beat by a real person than beat up on a bot. And before AI, and I hate how some of these terms are used. Like AI is used like, oh, there's this new thing called AI that totally hasn't existed for decades just because it's better now, or Chat GPT, like similar things like this have existed for a long time. It's just is becoming sort of ubiquitous now. Or OF, I won't even say what it is in case somehow you're not allowed, which I don't see why you wouldn't be, but you know, OF, oh, nothing before OF, nothing ever existed in sort of a hedonistic stimuli acme sense. And now the big bad OF comes along and everybody's all into it. Like, are people really that stupid that they think, like, it's a good example of what it can't be countered though? What do you mean, dude? Or you're not countering it, it's just like you're playing them at the same time. The animation is a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't look as badass as the one here, but it is nice that at least it has one. Yeah, Thursday will be some sort of gauntlet format. That way, there's so many games that I speculated I might want to do there. But, you know, I was thinking maybe Sea of Thieves, maybe something else. I can't remember even now. Yeah, I sure forgot. It's almost like a preference for like pseudo multiplayer games that I would want to play solo. So like I could play Path of Exile that obviously has some multiplayer elements to it or something, but or like always online kind of things. So I would still play them like they're single player, like how I'm playing Ark, but I wouldn't actually play them like that, basically. Wait, why? I thought these couldn't block. Why didn't he block that then? I just love how everything fucking shrinks down. This is totally how the physical cards are in real life somehow. Oh shit, he's gonna win just with the sheer amount of these then. They're at least gonna be forced to attack. What the fuck? What is this shit, bro? The fact that they can also block is very impressive. Like, this doesn't help me with the fucking angler turtle. Because, you know. Okay, we get the point, bro. We still get another shot, which is why I like this so much. Even if I dominate them equally as much. I get an opening hand Exodia, which there's nothing quite as bad as that in this game, but you know, the sheer likelihood of it, unlikelihood of it, makes it kind of okay. I have this interesting psychological element there that way. Like, it doesn't bother me in games when I necessarily lose or am unsuccessful, because I do it in such a, it's always that means argument that I talk about, right? Like, if I'm using something that I find fun, which doesn't happen as much in chess anymore now because I've kind of taken that so seriously. Like, oh, I could play with like a fun and interesting opening even if it's not good, and then I wouldn't care, right? Just because you're enjoying it or you're doing it the way you want to do it. So that's more important than actually. This is almost scary when you just hear the noises. I think I remember saying that on like the victory screen or whatever. If you don't advance, you'll hear like the noise of your pet or something. So some of those could actually be a little bit disturbing in a way. But I don't know if I'm hearing like the noise of that or something else on the screen. Maybe it's just all in my head, or maybe it's in my room, haha. So I got destroyed there, but it doesn't mean I don't still have a chance. Oh, hey Gerardo, how's it going? Or that's the one format I could do, is like some sort of React content, but I find that kind of stupid to do. I've almost made an effort to try to do that, but it just isn't me. Or like I would almost do it, you know, still without face cam and things like that. To sort of plays. I mean, I used to do movie reviews, so I find that Been following for 1 year and 10 months. Yeah, that is very impressive. Movie reviews, but that's very different than doing something React because you're kind of actually putting a certain amount of thought into it. You're a massive supporter. Indeed. VIP event. You, Nightmare, and Simply, all from chess too, or at least that's how they first discovered me, which maybe isn't a surprise given how much I played it, but I'm always going to be shocked at how much people are passionate about low-rated chess. Two hours and 40. Well, that's just since it started keeping track, though obviously he's watched more than that. Yeah, for some reason that feature is never enabled. I think Simply has you both beat, though. Now he's the best of the viewers, at least of the consistent viewers in terms of rating. He's like 2,000 plus. Which is kind of crazy. And then I know somebody who's 2,000 FIDE in real life, but they're not, well, I mean, you know, and that almost hurts the inflation argument because he's only 2,100 on chess.com. So that shows you FIDE can't be that different. It's only like 100-point difference for him. So at that level, it starts to stabilize a little bit, I guess. It's very hard to judge too with like other time formats and other stuff like that. Some of these I've never even really played before. I'd be very interested to try that myself, but it's very hard to... I'm not going to drive like an hour to go to some FIDE event and then fucking waste my time getting absolutely farmed by 1,100 rated people and getting pissed because I can just do that at home on LeChess on an inflated website. So until I'm really good, I'm not even going to bother. And then you'd have to pay money to get in and stuff like that. I love how much the Queen's Gambit sort of oh shit, look at how we destroyed her. Romanticize that so much, like, oh, she's like a celebrity and she's making big money, and this was like decades ago. That's chess right there. And like her mother's drinking liquor and stuff all the time with the money that she's giving her. It's like, at what point would you have made that much money that you're like a celebrity? Even Bobby Fischer didn't make that much at the time. Like, these guys made a decent amount, but like they were the absolute best of the best. If you were a middle of the road player, or maybe it's implying that she chased clout, like, oh, because she's a female player, she's getting all this extra attention that she wouldn't otherwise, which is unironically true, whether it seems like a, you know, maybe a mean thing to say. It's just, you get credit sometimes for all the wrong reasons together. What a picture that is. This game does have some pretty arguably disturbing art in it. Usually it's a black card, not a white one like that. Let's see, so we're fighting for the life of this stupid hexproof deck. Which again, we didn't even have enough hexproof ones to fill it up, so then we end up putting ward stuff in there. Which I don't dislike ward, it just feels again kind of useless because why wouldn't you just use hexproof instead when it's so much better? This guy always lets me down because as much as I like him, sacrifice a target creature, you explores. Doesn't really matter. Drag the card, put it on top of your library. I'm definitely not going to have 8 anytime soon. Yeah, I'll be like the Truman Show of chess. I'll be the first grandmaster to show every single game they ever played on the journey to get there. And even that still won't be true because then, okay, I played as a kid or something, but for the most part, the majority of the experience will be shown there, which is kind of cool. regardless of how far I do or don't get. And my real meaning in saying that is because I want to show how it's not actually that hard to do. It's just fucking time consuming, as much as people romanticize it, and it kind of pisses me off how I would rather it be like, oh haha, you just can't do it, so then don't even try. But the more I look at it, the more it's like, oh, if you just play long enough and study long enough, you can do whatever you want with it. Because so much of it, at least in the modern era, is like memory based and things like that. Or that was a new low for me as I did that WNBA content. I played NBA 2K not to actually play it, but to try the WNBA part of it. That was my whatever Wednesday thing for last week, just in celebration of the Sabrina Ionescu thing, the whole 3-point contest that everybody was freaking out about with Curry, which he actually did pretty good, but then he shot with the WNBA ball or whatever. I don't know if I should even worry about this. Yeah, Kenny Smith got in hot water for whatever he said about it on the commentary, but he said the wrong thing. He's talking about, oh, she should have shot from the WNBA 3-point line. But that wasn't the issue, because she did fine with that regard. But she should have used the NBA ball at least. That would have been more fair. So they're, you know, on an even field. I think I probably am going to lose this, but let's try. This makes it so that I play even less games than I normally would, because since it's a best of 3, I mean, I guess you're still playing the games out, but... Or you know what you could really fuck him over with is this, because you can't block with any of these stupid things. The fact that he has 7 of them means I'm basically dead, because I just can't block all of them. All you'd have to do is just attack with everything next time. Why do I feel like these things can't block? Like, there are some that use maybe the same picture that can't block. But... literally all you have to do is just attack with everything, especially when you have double trample out there. Can you believe I made this chick before I made the Carnage Tyrant? Even though obviously she's better, and it does complement the whole idea of trying to buff your hexproof stuff, but holy shit, bro. Okay, so this deck will actually die, and then we'll get to move on. Let's do one as the Nest Birds thing, which we did win as last time. So this deck cheated death for only 1 episode. You know, the one thing I almost had an urge to do was something in... I don't know if people would even be still playing WoW Classic, but I almost want to do that thing where I would go to like Redridge Mountains as a low-level rogue who's not even a twink and just kill people there, and listening to my fucking Dawn music or whatever on loop that triggered people so much. Or all these kind of repetitive things I would do. Or I did the same thing as a paladin in Stone Talon Mountains, where I just like went up and down the path and fucking killed people, and it was just like fun for the fuck of it. Or I did it as a rogue in STV, like sort of ganking people, but I didn't gank them in the sense of I didn't... Oh, for fuck's sake. Hey Stars, how's it going? Not bad, how about yours? So like it would be yanking people, but you wouldn't be a twink. You would just be a normal, shitty green gear, white gear sort of player who's just like playing normally. So that's just more like dynamic world PvP, even though you are sort of going out of your way to kill people. And I found that very fun at times, and it would create all these kind of crazy things, 3v1s and like all you against the world and all this kind of cool stuff, until some high level player comes in there to kill you and gank you, and just, you know, it's sort of like poor sportsmanship because you're not even a twink. So you're playing, you know, it's me against everybody in Redridge Mountains, and yet I'm still managing to hold my own and creatively sneak around and use stealth and attack them at the right time when they're in the middle of combat and all this kind of stuff. But yet they don't even respect that. They're gonna say, oh haha, we're gonna send a level 60 to come get you. What did I eat? Some kind of a just, oh, here we go with the My Little Pony thing. Just some sort of frozen thing. Nothing really fast food this time. Okay, this will be like our final boss battle to see if Nestbird stays alive for next time. This could actually take a very long time, but this is kind of fun. I haven't done this in a while. Why is this even in there? I guess because it is such an old deck. So the point of this is it's a green flying deck. And the problem with that is it kind of sucks as a result. But whatever. I would almost want to keep that sort of in reverence that that's one of the best flying cards in the game. You need to home cook. I mean, I do. It's called using the microwave. Or I'll have some of that Ski Divine, Ski Delight yogurt. That where the most disturbing thing about it isn't the fact that the spoon is getting off on eating the yogurt, but it's the fact that the spoon is eating the yogurt in the first place. What's the point of a spoon that eats your food for you and therefore steals it? Everybody's making the Ohio joke about that, but it's literally Australia. Australia was the original Ohio. Microwave doesn't count. I don't know what that fucking outline is. That seems almost like a graphical bug. But yeah, the laziness of it is definitely... That's a funny way to think about it. This is like some sort of weird tattered card back thing. Like the whole ripped jeans concept. That you would get a card back that looks worn just because you don't actually have worn ones yourself. Just to give the illusion that you're all rugged and badass. Imagine losing to a little My Little Pony user over here. Or imagine having that in the first place. Like as a free-to-play player, I would have spent like 20k gold on that. I can't remember how you even got it, but I remember seeing it in there. And being shocked by it. Of all the crossovers you could possibly do with this game, this is what you have to choose. Draw 3 cards and put... Yeah, that's what I should do. I'll do a react content to the My Little Pony series. And it'll actually be good. That's the sad part. Because something that famous couldn't be... Like Frozen. Everybody shits all over Frozen. I've never seen part 2. But it actually wasn't bad. I actually saw it after hearing all the hate for it. It has a pretty good twist, sort of villain ending thing. It's actually not bad. It's not like a masterpiece or anything like that. So I can understand that people would say it's overrated. But that's different, right? It's the difference between being overrated and just being bad. Insectile Aberration. Legendary creature, human insect. Delver of Secrets. As your ring bearer, this legendary this is so caught in the past of the fucking Lord of the Rings thing. Thought seas. Okay, I feel like I'm probably gonna lose this, but it is only still the first game. This mechanic always kind of triggers me. Because it's not like I have a ton of card draw or anything in these decks. I mean, these decks are probably going to do pretty badly now that I think about it. Because they're even worse than the ones I'm currently using now. And there's no special meaning to them. It's not like these are preferential themed fun decks that I like. Although some of them are going to be, obviously. They're just sort of random ones that I've used over the course of this playthrough. But it's just literally random stuff in there. But this one has a sort of an interesting theme, just the flying... hybrid with green, which of course green is not known for having much flying stuff at all. In fact, the only thing I can think of is that dragon, or at least the only good one is. Now you would arguably have enough for this, but you still need like one more mana of some color here. Yeah, I was trying to react to like a TV show, and then I watched like what was it, the original Clone Wars, like Star Wars, the first animated series, but I got like 11 minutes in and then I was just like tired, and then I never finished it because reacting to a movie was too exhausting too. It's just hard to do it because then you'd want to pause it and do all this kind of stuff. And that kind of fucks me up whenever I keep pausing. So that's why I actually kind of like doing stuff on stream rather than off stream, because when you're off stream you have the chance to just pause it, and every 5 seconds then I'll pause and get up and do something and be like, oh, I'll edit it later. Whereas here it feels like you don't have a choice. Whatever it just is. Like if you're doing something, fuck it, you don't get to stop, so you just have to make it work. +1/+1. Enchanted creature goes +3/+3 in flying. Be pretty amazing if I come back and win this. Like, his board's not that intimidating, but he's got too much shit there. Target up to 2 other creatures. And unfortunately, you can't do it twice on the same one, so you would have to do it like that. Yeah, that would be a pretty open field if I did want to react to stuff, because... You know, I've never seen like hardly any TV shows in my whole life. Like I saw the original Twilight Zone probably all the way through. I've seen Seinfeld all the way through. And I've seen maybe like 1 or 2 other things all the way through. But that's pretty, like a couple of anime series if you want to count that, Death Note, Dragon Ball Z. But almost nothing else. Like of the thousands of shows out there that people say, oh, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead. I haven't seen any of that shit. Better Call Saul. What is this stupid aura, dude? Okay, 3/3. I mean, you probably should just trade into something here. Wednesday games have been, I think, like Just Chatting was the first one, then Genshin Impact, then Honkai Star Rail, then the WNBA, and then Super Seducer. Or no, it was Super Seducer and then WNBA, right? It would have to be. Because Super Seducer was for Valentine's Day. It just so happened to fall on, like, NBA 2K24, but I played the WNBA mode in that. At least that's what I was trying to do, but then they didn't have an online mode for it, so then I ended up just not even doing it. What is Super Seducer? It's like some sort of stupid, like choice text kind of game, but it's like, you know, he's trying to teach you how to flirt with women or whatever, so it's like some sort of stupid premise. But I did it because it was on Valentine's Day. Bootleg Frank TJ Mackey from Magnolia, a movie that probably a lot of people haven't seen, but it's actually pretty good. Or it's, you know what, it's kind of like a soap opera movie where it's just like every scene is like some sort of emotional climax, but there's not much any build up or anything to it. What is today's date? It's the, yeah, I must have done that last week, that means. I hate doing this to the dragon, but I guess I don't have a choice. We're never gonna get to the point where we can actually play it. What's your plan? The one format that I sort of betrayed is my core hard mode format, where it's like, you know, oh, I'm supposed to be doing, you know, Paper Mario hard mode, but once I ever finish PvZ hard mode, or if I ever make a slot for it. Oh yeah, I was trying to recap, like what days would I change? Friday is PvZ Heroes, which that will end probably sooner than a lot of these other ones, but it could go on still for a long time. I almost have become a little bit comfortable with some of these in my casual nature here, just doing whatever on a repeated basis. And then the PvZ hard mode will definitely end if I can ever beat it. And then again, that would probably not be replaced by the Paper Mario hard mode as my next hard mode series. It would be replaced by like some other one-off try, like one attempt at something every week sort of thing, like what I was talking about. And then Saturday is just random, you know, stuff I haven't played before, so that's fine. And Sunday is Hearthstone. Yeah, almost none of those will really ever end, aside from maybe PvZ Heroes would be the most likely to end. And obviously PvZ, but then that could still be another slot. Since we might never actually know who the other one is, we don't see you talk to each other for a week unless told. We assume that the other one is dead. I don't know about that. it wouldn't be that hard to verify. Like, you can just say on Discord, hey, I'm not dead. Or I could just see you on chess.com that your rating's gone up or down. But yeah, based on that, I would think you're dead because it stayed basically the same. Or based on mine, you would know that I'm dead because I deleted it. It's the only way. In this day and age, with all the conveniences of modern communication, I doubt it. Come on, just let me get that big fucking dragon out and I might actually have a chance, but how did I win so easily last time with the first game? Or must have been a best of 3 as well. You would still talk to me from beyond the grave. Like, this chick's deck isn't even good, but I'm calling her a chick because Kevin, because of the My Little Pony thing. You can never tell whether somebody's using it because they actually like it or they're doing it just to troll. Fun and interactive, 10 out of 10. Okay, just put me out of my misery, dude. So next time we just gotta take a mental note. So Nestbirds is gonna be dead, and the other one is dead too. The elusive, evasive, whatever it was. The full-on hexproof hard commit. Treasure Cruise. Okay, hurry up, bro. Yeah, for once we're not really even... We have less of a format with this than we even normally do. Normally I'm just trying to do the daily quest just so I can get to rank 35 in the season, just so I can get some cosmetic thing like the Tim Burton card back or the Gishath, you know, avatar that we're using here, both of which are very cool. But this season I don't even feel the need to do that, so we don't even have to do the daily quest. Just because we're not really saving for anything. I'm just trying to do another draft maybe before it's over, and then hopefully build up another 10k before the next expansion so that we're able to, you know, do a draft as soon as that starts. At least I've been pretty good about keeping that thing up. Like, every expansion I do, I've been doing one as soon as it comes out. Which doesn't seem like a big commitment. Like, you have the whole expansion to just get 10k. Not to mention whatever you would get from doing the draft itself, but usually that's not very much because I haven't done too well at them. But I won like 2 games in one of them, so it's like you win 2 out of 3 because you only played 3 total games. So isn't that so good? If you average 2, that should be pretty reasonable, but for fuck's sake, dude. If I could just get something actually that I could play out here. I can keep whacking you with the flying thing, or I guess I can't now because you have one, but imagine losing to this clown. Only have 6 fucking HP. Like, what would it take? Give me that trample hexproof, dude. But I don't even know if they're in here. This is a pretty cool looking land, actually. Watery Grave. It looks kind of too colorful for that, actually. As Watery Grave enters the battlefield, or maybe it's to imply that the entire planet itself is a watery grave. Okay, see you later. I'll probably end before you come back. Holy shit, you're just taking too long. I would just need like something with haste, flying and haste with 4 attack, which is pretty unlikely to happen. 5 mana 10/10 could save me, but not really. What is that icon even? Flash. Amass Orcs 1. It's kind of a moot point no matter what I could have done there because you have flying anyway. So how ironic that the Nestbirds gets taken out by a flying minion because the whole fucking point of this deck is to have flying minions for once. which you normally don't as green, or I normally don't just because I don't like them. Like, how many green flying... Oh, fuck, it feels like a shame, but I don't really care. Like, how many green flying ones do I even have in here?
Is your rank.
Yeah, both of those decks fall.
It'll improve. The competition can be fierce, but rewarding.
Ambitious
You earn rewards
Dragonborn.
based on your highest rank each season. The higher the rank,
Yeah, some
the
of these
better
are
the
really
rewards.
outdated even
You
by
can
my
check on your rank in
low
the profile too.
collection standards. The Indrik is really shitty. Is this even not what I thought it was? Like, what the fuck? Oh, maybe it wasn't supposed to be a green flying deck. That might be a different one. This is supposed to just be a green deck that happens to have a few flying things in there. Right, to sort of complement or counter that. So that's completely not what I even thought it was. Okay, see you tomorrow.